Welcome everyone to a new market update, and today we're going to discuss DeFi, we're going to discuss Bitcoin, we're not going to discuss GameStop as that is the one being discussed a lot on Twitter. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram as I'm also posting content there. We'll be introducing more stuff on Instagram in the near future, so don't forget to follow me there. Are we going to see a massive move on Bitcoin? That's the question. Well, at this point, we're seeing that Bitcoin is chopping around, and that is fueling the altcoins to start rallying. And I'll go into some descriptions on what I'm expecting to see occur on the markets. We have been doing that in the previous episodes as well of these market updates. The most likely case is that we're going to see a corrective period in which everything calms down. Especially the majors, they've had their first big move, and often we get a corrective month of February, as that often happens based on history. However, before that could happen, before we could see such a correction, altcoins can still continue surging. So what we see, for instance, Swipe, and I'll just use the KuCoin chart, is still waiting to make a big breakout. So if Bitcoin calms down for 1 or 2 weeks, altcoins can still continue running upwards heavily, and then the next levels for Swipe are $2.15, maybe even $3 before it starts to correct. So the expectations are that there is a correction on the horizon in February, March before the big alt summer that we all want to have is going to occur, just like we saw Swipe going absolutely crazy in the previous alt summer. However, will the correction occur right now and everything corrects heavily, or will the correction occur after the rest of the altcoins are waking up and then it occurs? So right now what we see on Bitcoin, we are chopping around, we have a range-bound construction. On the downside we've got that 30k area, and as you know I have been discussing the level as significant. If the 30k level gets another test, the likelihood of failing to hold that level is increasing, which means that this scenario that I have here starts to be pretty relevant, as then the 21 weekly MA is going to occur, or getting close to the price as well. And we know that in the previous bull cycle, the 21 weekly MA is a very important indicator to watch, and therefore that should be watched if you want to enter the markets. The majors, Ethereum, Polkadot, Chainlink, and more of them are all pretty vertical already. They have seen their run. The likelihood of them correcting some more rather than continuing is significant, especially if Bitcoin starts to correct. But as I said, as long as Bitcoin starts to consolidate in this range, there is a chance that small caps and mid caps have their first run. That's why I've also said to not entirely close your altcoin positions at all times, as in a bull market, the best strategy to do is to hold your positions and only trade them partially until something goes very vertical, and then you want to get rid of it, as the likelihood of testing those levels that have not been tested in the upwards run increase. So at this stage, altcoins are still waking up, and there's no point in closing your positions when they are at all-time lows in Bitcoin pairs, when Bitcoin is close to being bottomed out, after which the altcoins start to surge heavily and the cycle is just waking up. So that's not the strategy. However, you should be aware that that correction could occur and could drain the prices for a little bit. But on the upside, we do see that Bitcoin still has to break the 34k level. It's not doing that at this point. We have seen a clear rejection at the 34k zone. Pretty much a copy-paste of what we saw at the 34k support level previously. No breakthrough of resistances, hammering the support for multiple times. At this point, 34k has to break to become bullish, but given the fact that we have testing the support at 30k a significant amount of times, the likelihood of fading through is increasing through which this scenario that I have here is something that I'm definitely watching. I'm also not one of the group members that actually thinks that Bitcoin will have the end of the bull run at the end of this year. I think the cycle will last longer, and we have a bull cycle until at least end 2022, maybe even 2023, and then the economy collapses and Bitcoin also crashes down. So this is what I'm watching at this point. Range bound construction, volatility to probably start kicking in at the end of this month, beginning next month. And if we do not break 34k, I think we're going to test the 25k region. Then how is DeFi doing? DeFi is absolutely going crazy. We do see that Uniswap, there was some hype around Uniswap in the beginning. It got listed, it dropped significantly. However, consolidation, acceleration, and it's such a beautiful chart to watch. Why? As you see, the general rule, you do not enter in green candles. You wait for levels to be tested again, and then you start scaling in. So what do we see? In the meantime, the coffee machine is going out. What we see is that we got this nice consolidation period here. That is actually the period that you should be interested in something. But if you're not interested in something during this run, there's no entry swing trading wise based on a daily time frame. So you're probably going to scalp in between. However, gray box, retest of previous high, done. That is an entry point. Rally, once again, no entry points here. Retest, did not fill completely, but this range area you should be scaling in. Retest, done. In this period, everybody becomes interested in Uniswap and wants to get into a position. Is it a position? No, because these retests have to occur. What it also shows is that once something starts to run, you don't get many entries to get back into the position. So in a bull cycle, you should not be closing fully. Also, if you are in Uniswap since $4 and it starts to run to $15, $16, $17 and the correction occurs, so it goes back to 9 and you have taken some 30% profits, you are still up heavily. And you have the ability to be flexible and to use that liquidity to accumulate a bit more before the next run happens. Because you should be aware that DeFi is a big thing for the coming years. Crypto and the entire market is in for a massive bull cycle. So I would definitely avoid to close positions entirely. What are the levels to watch for Uniswap at this point? Definitely not an entry. We can see that we used the Fibonacci extension tool and we gained towards the 1.618, retested the level, went towards the 2.618 level, but more importantly, using this as the 1, this area as the 0, we can see that we've hit 1.618 Fibonacci level again. Day trade opportunities can be done around the $12 zone. The other area to look for potential entries is around $9.40. If we look at the Bitcoin pair for Uni, we can see that we do well, and most likely we get a corrective period in any of this green level that you want to see. So this gray box is an entry zone that you could be looking at. Then you've got some other projects, for instance Curve, also accelerated heavily, pretty nice construction, breakout. Levels to watch, and Curve is not entirely in position at this point as we just saw a 7x move. The levels to watch are quite clear. So you've got a few of these ranges to look out for, and I'm just making them very simple. But the levels to watch, first one is day trade wise is this region, second level is this region. If any of these two get a test, so we have seen this big move, potential bearish divergence, only applied if we lose this level. If we get a move like this, that is going to be very natural for the market, especially as we just saw such a big move to the upside. But as you can see in this chart, there's so much more upside to come. So we're just getting started, allocate wisely, and you will be a big winner. And also subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow.